Few rules in this class. During explanation, you can ask any question related to what you're doing. Your goal to understand this 100%. No limitation, but question we have difficulty. Second of all, you have to take notes to develop style. Because most important is a style. For instance, one of my major is computer programming, where I teach programmers. They have special classes, style of programming, how to write code, style. Here we also have style. You know style, you know understand algorithm steps, you always win. Next step, you can easily check if you took notes or not. It's must. At the end of class, I will tell you, let's say, make a picture, what you wrote, my explanation, example number 17, randomly. You make a picture, your first last name, send us. Since you have been teaching 48 years and 17 plus online, we developed method such a way that result online is higher than in person because we use special method of decomposition. So based on this, keeping in mind that our platform connected to AI, our AI, almost impossible to cheat in this class, right? If you want to win, I help you for all my heart. If you not follow recommendation, sorry. That's how it works. So thousands of my students get perfect score of the board, close to perfect, you know this. I need this group, small group that I have, also get perfect or close to perfect. One more thing before I start. Many students ask manager about internship. Yes, we do have internship. We're doing this for many years. Only this year we uploaded in many countries over the world, right? And this internship for free. We don't charge from you at all, okay? Only one condition, to get nice reference from us, there is supposed to be two conditions. The first is you have to understand this topic, go in depth, specific topic we'll help you to choose, and answer the question, because during when you present your internship, we have many, all of us doctors, medical doctors, different kind of doctors, licensed medical doctors, and they will ask you questions. You're supposed to answer the question. It will be good for you because maybe step of prof orientation for your future. Second of all, when you go to admission, you have interview, you will be very confident about this. And one more thing, to get a reference from our team, your academics supposed to be high. Obvious, right? If let's say CEO of corporation give you reference and your score is in the middle, you pass SAT with 600 garbage score, math and 600 math, English, we can't give nice at all. So develop your results and we help you, like we help many students to get this. It's extremely important nowadays, extracurriculum, real extracurriculum with real references, okay? And everybody for the admission, Google us and we on the top on this rank. And it will be very helpful and very challenging and make maybe your life different, because many of my former students, they now doctors, scientists, head of departments, etc., etc. This is more introduction. This is about it. I believe I answered your question, right, on this. Internship, we have very wide, not only medical fields, right? We work in many, bioengineering, many different fields. Even we have AI, let me put this way, and different direction. Well, do you have any questions so far?
Yeah.
My plan was, yes, go ahead.
For the internship, do you have to have taken the SAT to do it, or no?
Definitely, for internship, you're supposed to show nice result in internship, in your SAT. Because in internship we recommend in reference letter, we recommend that you are responsible, you study nicely, etc., etc. Why we doing for free this internship for so many years? Easy. Idea of this corporation, we are scientists actually, right? And we created this method 48 years ago. In order to develop scientific project, we develop smart students. We help them to get the best high schools, the best of the schools, after the best universities. We help them with universities. After university, the best of the best work in our corporation. We have 13 corporations. So idea was to develop people who work in science. We very respect scientists, right? In all this field, because they produce new ideas. And based on this, this is our goal. So we teach thousands and thousands of students. Even now we have in this room people from different countries, right? But we care about their level. It's not just pass SAT and that's it. No. SAT, nice SAT is not enough to get to nice college. You know about this? Yes or no?
Yeah, but can you just show your like transcript? Or do you have to have the SAT to show that you
Yeah,
have
you take SAT because I want to be sure. How I can make reference if I don't know who you are? Make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Now, students, reference usually, because before we hire many people by resume, and resume not durable at all. They're getting some reference, some fake reference. Who cares? Now I know the person is responsible. That's why we never give references for people who not top level. So we're responsible, and that's why our recommendation is have big impact on this market, because according to Google and everything, we never lie. Let me check your homework. If you need any help, I help you. But one more thing to add. Again, many students ask about new format of SAT, digital format. You know this, right? Digital format. And I made in open house, I explain you difference between different formats. Would you like to know a little bit more about or try a few questions from new SAT? Put your hands down, everybody. Hands down. Okay. Who would like to see this new format? Today we can practice both explanation of previous, and we can practice with new format, digital format. What is it, right? Okay, let's more work intensively. I explain this topic. Again, answer your questions. After that, if we have time, we're gonna go through digital format SAT. You will see this. You can play this game. For instance, I send you this package, small, the first part, the first module, and you saw, let's say, 5 questions. You will type me the answers here, and based on your answers, I see where you have mistake. I explain everything. After that, another 5 questions, another 5, and we'll see what you do, and you will have flavor of this test, right? And I will explain how this test is organized. But first of all, let's go over through our homework. Let me erase everything. Today is 10/14. And this is SAT G. I deliberately give you only this stuff without many examples. Why? Because in this case, you have the chance to read everything. And we have, and after that, when you explain this topic, you finish, you then get exercised by this topic. And you notice that many of these already solved of these questions. Many of them solved, only few of them starting from 11 to 14 did not solve. Let me put this way. Let me put this way. 11, right? 11, no solution. Yes, 11. What about 10? Do they have solution for 10? What about 9? Okay, let me put this number 9. Problem number 9, they don't have solution, right? Okay. The first is this package number 8. Chapter 8. So the third is Boolean 1 or 0. 1 you send me before class. Why it's important? I use character recognition if you write nice handwriting using, and analyze what you did, right? And your result, what you count right now, is supposed to match what you sent me before, because system does not trust anybody. It's math. Math is just number by number, compare numbers, exactly the same. And if you did not send, system nullify, multiply everything by 0, and your result is 0, easy. And number 4, the last digit here, 1, if you send me answers plus steps, or 0.1 if this is just answers, like ABC, like small kids. And system multiply your result by 0.1. Let's say instead of 90, you get just 9%. Because we have to develop style. It's not guessing, not voodoo, this is math. I start from number 9. Okay, number 9. Who would like to read number 9? Be my guest. Okay. Yes, Oleg, please. Oleg, right? Number 9.
Yeah. Special relativity is a branch of physics that deals with the relationship between space and time. The Lorentz term, a term that relates to time, the change in time, length, and relativistic mass of a moving object, is given by the following formula, where v is the relative velocity of the formula and c is the speed of light in a vacuum. Which of the following equations correctly represents the relative velocity in terms of the other variables?
Thank you. So, anybody read about relativity theory? Some stuff? This is great formula. This great formula. If you watch movies, for instance, few words about twins paradox. When I explain this, I show how it works in relativity theory. But so far, pretending how on the SAT this question, not necessarily good idea if you know what is it, but not necessarily to know all these formulas. You're only supposed to operate with these formulas. Can I erase these numbers to make more room? Anybody need this? Nobody. So again, good idea if you know this, but not necessarily. What we have in this number 9, let me write it down. You have gamma equals 1 over square root 1 minus v squared over c squared. This is extremely important in physics formula. But regardless, mechanically, what they ask you? They ask you to find v, velocity. Find v. So this coefficient equals 1 minus this is velocity, and this is speed of light and vacuum. How to find v? I will take different color. Good idea if you have also different colors here, right? And multiply both parts, let's say, by this value. Imagine this is over 1. like this, right? Or multiply both part by, get rid of this denominator, or use cross multiplication. Okay, what we'll have here? If you use cross multiplication, y, okay, I use this gamma, times square root of 1 minus v squared over c squared equals to 1. This is my target. It's kind of irrational equation. I use different color again. This is step number 1. And divide both part by gamma. After that, I cancel out these gammas. And in step number 2, I will have square root of 1 minus v squared over c squared equals to 1 over gamma. Why I did it? I isolated square roots. Now, how to get rid of square root? Inverse operation is second power, right? I put both parts to the second power. Okay, this color, right? This color. What I'll get from here? In step number 3, cancel out the square root. I will get 1 minus v squared over c squared equals to 1 over gamma to the second power. Remember, this is my target. How to isolate this term? Easy. I subtract 1 from both sides. I continue with that. So 1 and 1 cancel out. In step number 4, I continue here to have more rooms. I have negative v squared over c squared. You can put in minus in front. Equals to 1 minus 1 over gamma to the second power. Okay. Now, so far so good?
Dr. Farber, wouldn't it be minus 1?
Minus 1, right. This is minus 1. I agree with you. So the next time is you multiply both part by c squared. And c squared and c squared cancel out. Right? So far so good? And what we have here left? You have negative e to the second power. Okay. Equals 1 over gamma to the second power minus 1 multiplied by c to the second power. I can take square root from negative, so I multiply both part by negative 1. I multiply both part by negative 1. Why? Because I need to change sign. I will get v to the second. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. Negative 1 times 1 over gamma to the second power is negative 1 over gamma to the second power. And don't forget we have here c to the second. I multiply everything by c to the second. You can write c to the second in front. And the very last step, I take different color. Look in the format of multiple choice. You take in square root of both sides again. And what you'll get, square root of v to the second is v. Square root of c to the second is c. And after that, square root of 1 minus 1 over gamma to the second power. That's simple algebra. If you look at multiple choice, this would be what D as in Daniel. Who understands this 100% up to this point? Operation basic. Why this formula important? Keep in mind, it's not only contraction by Lorentz. What is contraction? When a pretend rocket has velocity close to speed of light, it becomes shorter. You multiply this, the bigger this v, the smaller denominator. If this approaching to this, it would be 1, or if you start the calculus limit. 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 divided by 0 is infinity. That's why if you have the same formula, I just give two words. T equals T0 times T0. I write this in the same format. You can write this coefficient, or you can write in the denominator times 1 minus v to the second over c to the second. What is it? Look at this. This is the Earth, pretend, Earth. And there are two twins, your age, 13 years old, pretend. And one travel in the rocket, this one. And velocity of this rocket is very close to, let's say, velocity is v equals 0.99 of speed of light, which is extremely high, 300,000 kilometers per second. Okay. So
Dr. Farber. So in this scenario where the number is in fraction form, to isolate the variable, the first step you have to do is to take it out of the fraction form?
Yes. Doesn't matter what you have to isolate variable.
Dr. Farber.
Even if it's not a fraction form, just isolate variable. Yes, question?
When you divide negative v divided by negative 1 to get the negative out of the equation, why don't you divide the c squared by negative 1 as well?
In this point? Which line?
Yeah, that one.
This one, you can multiply by negative. I don't even do step by step. When I do myself, I skip these steps. But look at this, what I'm doing here, when I get this expression, right? First of all, multiply by c squared both sides. After that, I have to switch sign to negative. So that's I multiply by negative 1 both parts. It becomes y, because otherwise I will not take square root of this. Did I answer your question? Or ask me a different way?
Well, I'm just a little confused because when you isolate the c squared to make the v like by itself, you have to multiply c squared by both sides, right? So
yes.
When you divide the negative 1, why does it only apply to like 1 over gamma squared minus 1 and not the whole equation? Because then wouldn't you multiply that part times c squared when you isolate the variable?
Multiply by c squared. C squared I mentioned in front of this one. Look at this, what happens. If I multiply this by this, c squared, look at this. I just write step by step.
Well, yeah, I know when you multiply c squared times that, it cancels, but...
They cancels.
Yeah. And then wouldn't you also multiply what you put in parentheses times c squared? So when you do that and you divide, in the next step, when you divide negative v squared divided by negative 1 to make the v squared positive, why don't you also divide the c squared? by -1.
C square will not divide. C square is over there, over here. I just erase something. C square is over there. C square is related to this part. Just a second. Already this one. C square, you're talking about this square or this square? This square.
That one, yeah.
So this will be only to the right part. Because
Right.
one part you cancel out.
So when you divide by -1, why do you only divide the 1 over gamma squared minus 1? Because in the next step, the c squared stays positive when you take the square root.
Now I understand your point. You think that we're supposed to, now your question is, do I supposed to multiply by -1 all this? Both of this, right? You're asking.
Yeah.
This is wrong. I explain why. Look at this, a simple example. For instance, when you have a product of two terms, right over there, okay? Let's say you have 2 times 5, which is 10. And pretend I multiply this value by 3 or -3. It doesn't matter right now. According to the rule of math, I multiply only one term. You don't multiply two terms, and you can easily check. 2 times 5 is 10. You multiply 3 times 10, it would be 10, 30. If I multiply only one term, only one, it would be 6 times 5, which is 30. But if I multiply both terms, it would be wrong because this is 6 and this is 15. And 6 times 15 is 90. So when you have a product and you multiply by any value, it doesn't matter, -1 or any value, you multiply only one term.
Okay, I understand now. Thank you.
Keep in mind, I have seen many times this mistake. Don't be confused with distribute. It's product. Product only one term. That's I change here, but level like it is. Yeah. Good. If you have more questions, ask me. Okay, no questions. Okay. Keep in mind this formula is extremely important because when speed approaching the speed of light, this time you see it's 1 minus 1 is 0. T is 0 when time in the rest on the Earth is rest. When you divide, time would be infinity, approaching to infinity. What happens? This spaceship returns to the Earth, and let's say for him, for this guy, only 1 month pass according to his time. And time for this, his brother, maybe 100 years pass. We name it twin paradox. It's based on this idea. So time depends on velocity, a velocity very close to speed of light. This is idea. Anyway, if you have more questions, ask me. I believe now everybody understands, right, students? Again, raise hand. Who does not? Ask me question. Katerina? You use some browser, Katerina. Don't use any browsers here in the class. System generate error message. Yeah, thank you. This was number 9. Next is number 10. Number 10. Here, nothing to read. Again, any test you'll find, they give you formula to operate with. So from one variable to get another variable. Only have to write it correctly. Cube root of what? Oh, this is too big root. There's no fractions here. Cube root of g to the 6, h to the third, minus 27, g to the fourth, h to the third. Given that g, h both positive, g and h is greater than 0, and they ask you to simplify to get this expression somehow, right? Well, I just remind you strategy. For instance, you study formula that square root of product equals to product of square roots. And you study formula that square root of quotient equal quotient of square roots. But you know, if you have square root of sum of difference, here we have difference. Square root of difference never equals to difference of square roots. No way. This is a big mistake. The same if you had plus here. For product and quotient, we have formula, and this one, we don't have this formula at all. Like 30 years ago, we made animation for this formula, like an explosion bomb, atomic bomb explosion in this case. There's no such formula. I can apply, since this is mine, it's not a problem. I can nothing to do from this. I have to change to any of this formula. How to change? So far, so good. It would be cube root factorize. It would be g to the fourth, h to the second. Oh, we have 6. G to the third. To the third. H to the third. After that, since this is third root, we have g to the third, h. We don't have h here. Minus 27, g. And you don't need h. I look into multiple choice, what they ask you about. They provided 2 answers. What I did, I factorized. Check if I did correctly. G to the third to G to the third distributive, G to the 6, H to the third, yes, it's correct. Minus G to the third times G, G to the fourth, and H to the third, and we have this coefficient. I use these few formulas, I just remind you. This formula that A
Dr. Farber, why can't you take the cube root of 27?
Say it again.
Why can't you take the cube root of 27?
We cannot do this, Alyssa, because this is a formula. It not allowed you to do this. This 27, this is subtraction. They connected together. And for subtraction addition, there is no such a formula. You cannot do this.
Okay, thank you.
Only for product and for quotient, yes. For this, no. Now, let me apply this formula, this one. I do very slowly. Cube root of product equals product of cube root. I will have cube root of this guy multiplied by cube root of this one. So far, so good. And close radical. And this is about it, right? Now, look at this. This and this cancel out. Cube root of g to the third, it will be what? G. Cube root of h to the third would be h. After that goes cube root of g to the third minus 27g. And if you look multiple choice, this is for sure B. Simple. Behind the scene, keep in mind, that's what you're supposed to do.
Dr. Farber,
Yes.
where did the other h to the third to the cube go?
No, we can't, Islam. I explain again. Because it's h, you're talking about this one or this one?
The last one, the last.
Last one, I factorize. This over there, this is h. I factorize. Check it.
Okay.
Distributive. 27g to the third times g to the fourth, formula 1, times h to the third. This h to the third is in front of parentheses.
Oh, okay, got it.
Dr. Farber, why doesn't the g cubed cancel out in the last step?
This one? This?
No.
Yeah.
The last one, where it's like the g cubed. Why do we keep the cubed? Why doesn't it cancel out?
We're talking about this one, right? Like, or this one.
Yeah, that one.
You cannot do this again, students. Pretend this is, I put here Latin, nota bene. You know what is it? Don't forget, never ever in your life, when you have addition, subtraction, you can apply separately for two terms this radical. No way. It's one solid piece. When you have minus or plus, it's one solid plate piece. You cannot do this. Cannot. You see, this is not equal. Never. I give example. Look at this, students. Square root of 9 plus 16. Let's do this, okay? Maybe you remember this all your life. You got the rule of math. You take in square root of 9 plus 16, this is 25. And square root of 25, help me. Come on, students, square root of 25.
5.
You got it. Now, pretend that you forget that this is impossible. Нельзя, impossible. So pretend you think it's the same. Pretend. I put here a smiley face. It's not wrong. It's the same like square root of 9 plus square root of 16. Why? Because you like this 9. 9 is perfect square. What is square root of 9? Help me.
3.
3. What is square root of 16?
4.
4. Beautiful. We just proved that 5 equals to 7. Whatever. Is it possible 5 equals to 7?
No.
No.
No. So what is science? Science has always, main feature of science, you always reproduce result. Where in the moon, in the ocean, wherever, in different planet, the result would be only the same. And here we have ambiguity. Why? Because it's impossible. This is impossible. This is garbage, garbage, garbage. Persuasive? Now 100% understanding, students? Raise your hand who understand this. Don't make this mistake. They trick you the same way. Analyze all mains tests on the world for many years, even from tests from 17th century. They use the same tricks, Okay, good. If you don't have more questions, let's go to next one. Who has question about this? Parvina, how you feel about this? What we're doing, this is chapter 10, Parvina, remember? Chapter 10, radicals. Nothing else. Okay, good, good, good. Number 11. What is how many students? Number 11. Number 11, nobody asked me. Anyway, who need help for number 11? If you need help, I explain. Okay, let me go through number 11. Who will read this number 11? Somebody. Oh, Dmitro, please. 11.
Human blood contains three primary cells types: red blood cells, RBC, white blood cells, WBC, and platelets. In an adult male, a single microliter, 1 multiplied 10 minus 3 milliliters, of blood contains approximately 5.4 multiplied 10 6 RBC, 7.5 multiplied 10 3 WBC, and 3.5 multiplied 10 5 platelets. On average, what percentage of an adult male's total blood cell count is comprised of red blood cells?
Thank you. So what we have here, let me write it down. We have, they said, what is it? Red BC. How many we have of them? 5. I just write what is given. 5.4 times 10 to power 6. What else? They said white BC. How many we have of them? 7.5 times 10 to power 3, I believe. Yes, 10 to power 3. And platelets, let's say P, they have 3.5 times 10 to power 5. Okay, they ask you to find a ratio, right? What percentage? To find percent of something like you did in first grade, you have to find total. Only you cannot add them up because they have different this scientific notation. One of this way you can factorize, put anyway, but it will not help you too much. Let me write an expanded form, right? What is 6 is millions, so make 6 steps to the right. Like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I will write this number like this, 5, right? Expanded form. Should I do it slowly? Look at this. Let's do slowly to avoid question. Pretend I have 5.4 times 10 to power 6. When you and I write 10 to power 6 in front for convenience. Oh, I can write like this. It's the same 5.4, and you make 6 steps to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take zeros from your pocket and put here zeros. Expanded form. Now, 7.5 times 10 to power 3. It will be what? 7.5, and you make 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. 4 to zeros. Now line up like you add in second grade numbers. You put here 0, 0, 5, and 7. And finally, 3.5 times 10 to power 5. 5 steps to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take from pocket 0 and put the zeros here. Line up. 0, 0. How many we have? 4 zeros. 0, 0. After that goes 5. Line up here 5. and F3 respectively. Well, when I convert to expanded form, I'm supposed to add them up. If I add them up, what they have? You can start from here, but this is 0, 0, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5. We add them up. Okay. Or now you want to convert to scientific notation. How to convert to scientific notation? Put it here 0 and see how many we have digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In scientific notation, it would be 5.7575. You can round this. Okay. 57575, whatever, 0, 0. And you multiply this by how many zeros I count? 10 to the power 6. Beautiful. This is total. Now, how to find percent of number? They ask you to find percent of what? Of red. So you can make a proportion. For instance, this is 100%. And this red is 5.4 times 10 to the power 6 is x. Cross multiplication, find x. What is good, you can easily simplify everything, right? Yeah. Okay. Anybody need help with cross multiplication? If you need help, I'll do this. Raise hand when you have cross multiplication. Nobody. So again, when you operate with scientific notation, and you want to add, better to convert it to what? To expanded form. If you have any question, ask me. If you don't have question, I have question. Who understand this? Yes, Oleg, you can. Who understand this 100%? 100. Okay, put your hands down. Ask me questions. Don't be shy. Now, if you don't have question, Daniel, Dmitro, hands down, please. Next is number 12. What do we have for number 12? Number 12. Oh, this word problem. Probably Alyssa, please. Number 12 word problem.
An object launched straight up into the air is said to have a parabolic motion because it goes up, reaches a maximum height, and then comes back down. The height h of a projectile at a time t is given by the equation h equals 1/2 a t squared plus vot plus ho, where a is the acceleration due to gravity and vo and ho are object's initial velocity and initial height, respectively. Which of the following equations correctly represents the object's acceleration due to gravity in terms of other variables?
Okay, thank you. Let's go through this stuff. I will give this, I don't know, we need this or not. If I need formula, I will give it. Good idea at the end of your notebook, approximately 5 pages from the end. Write all these formulas, like reference, okay? Good. Now, they give you formula, actually, from mechanics, right? Well, the formula is h equals to 1/2 a t to the second plus v0t. I believe I wrote it correctly. And plus h0. You understand physically what is it, right? I make here some example. Pretend you have a Cartesian coordinate, and you have some, I don't know, some object, and you stand on this object. And this initial height, this is 0. This initial height, let's say h0. And you throw this object this object stone. And this is velocity, initial velocity. This is velocity of this object at the beginning. And this is time. I make it, since I don't have too much room, I make it like this. It goes by parabola. And this is height. This equation explains how to find height in any point of your trajectory. And what they ask you to find? They ask you to find A. A is a question. Again, pretend you don't understand this. Nobody cares. Just operate with this formula. How to operate with this formula? Look, I need again, like we did in the beginning of my lecture, we're supposed to isolate variables they're looking for. We have radical, we don't have, nobody cares. Just isolate variable. And I use different color and put here. This is my target. I need to isolate this. So everything is supposed to take. And we have only one rule how to do this. Inverse operation. So look in the multiple choice. I look in, doesn't matter which order you can do this, but minus V0t and minus from this kind, V0t minus H0 and minus H0. Okay, good. Next. What I have to the left part? H minus H0. Doesn't matter which one they use. Minus V0t. Right part. 1/2 AT to the second. I even can write it a little bit more convenient for you. It's the same, but you can write AT to the second. It's the same. Because when you multiply value by fraction, you multiply numerator. Okay, cancel out and cancel out. How to find A? I'm supposed to multiply both parts reciprocally, one of this way. You know, just to make a joke for kids, if you have one student and multiply by reciprocal, product of two reciprocal always what equals to 1. For instance, 3/7 times 7/3, 1. So since I need A, I multiply by this guy, both parts. 2/t to the second power, both parts. Okay? And what I have to the left part? 2 times h minus h0 minus v0t over t to the second. This and this cancel out. I will have A. And which format they ask you to find this? Okay, they ask you what format to find this. This is what we have here. This is the answer. So actually, look at the target. Without thinking, whatever they give you, isolate variable and find this variable. We name it in math, we name it dependent variable and all of them independent variable because the A, in this case, depends on H, H0, V0, and T. If you have any question, ask me. Who has any questions? Do you see commonality with this problem we did at the beginning with gamma? The same stuff, not thinking too much. If you don't have any questions, let's go to next one. Number 13, many students. 13. 13, nothing to read. This is some formula, some expression. Only condition, in order to accomplish something, you must make notes. Don't forget, in the end of class, I ask you to text me one of this example. Okay, number 13. In number 13, we have three. Just a second. Take different problem marker. So 3 plus, believe it, square root of 72 divided by 3 minus square root of 72. And they ask you, which is the following? Let me remind a couple of formulas for you. Formula 1 we need for this. This is formula a minus b times a plus b equals to a squared minus b squared. Everybody knows this is difference of square two terms equal difference of the stem multiplied by sum. And the second formula I need for this is a plus b to the second power. A squared plus 2ab and plus b to the second. I believe you know this abridged formulas. Everybody knows, right? We studied in 5th, 6th grade this formula. If you don't know this formula, it saves you time. Good idea to know. No questions so far? You can easily get this formula. Multiply a plus b times a plus b. Use FOIL rule or distributive, you get the same by yourself this formula. Now, I have Zachary who using some browser here in my room. Zachary, no browsers. Thank you. Keep in mind, this system very smart. If you see your browser, don't be surprised, Oleg right now. You don't be surprised if you be first of all muted, after that kicked out. Easy.
I'm using a PDF.
PDF, download Adobe Reader before for free. Not
Yeah,
from
a PDF. I'm a PDF in Adobe Reader.
But is it from your hard drive or from internet right now?
From hard drive.
No, now I don't see anything. But if you use something from internet, system generate because it cares about your score. Okay. Only no, it now will show you again your mistake. Ask your parents to help you to download nice reader to your hard drive, not from internet. System has impression that you use YouTube, for instance. Okay, look at this. We have to make normalization. Square root very often give you irrational number, which irrational number, for instance, square root of 2, irrational number. Not convenient to divide by irrational number, right? What is supposed to do? We use conjugate. Conjugate. What is conjugate? You multiply this fraction by conjugate. If this is minus, all right, the same value with plus. But I cannot multiply only denominator. If I multiply denominator by the same equivalency, I must multiply what? The numerator by the same. Any questions so far? This step number one. No thinking, just like robot. You have this guy with square root multiplied by conjugate. Conjugate the same expression with plus. Why? Because I'm going to apply this first formula. If you don't have any question, continue. So this would be this times this. Either you can use like small kids, multiply each term, or apply the second formula. because we have two terms the same. I can override this. It's the same like 3 plus square root of 72, or multiply 1 by 1 for root to the second power, the same multiply with the same. Or, according to this formula, when you product x squared of the first term minus square of the second. I deliberately will do step for you. I just applied to a bridge formula. So far so good. Now, how to do this one? 3 to the second, it's square of the first term, which is 3 to the second, which is 9, plus double product, 3 times square root of 72. This one, double product AB, plus square root of 72 to the second power, plus square of the second one. What about these guys in the denominator? 3 to the second is 9. Square root of 72, they cancel out each other, minus 72. I delivered the dual steps. When you have experience, you can skip many steps with this. So definitely this is 6. So let's override what we have here. Okay. So far so good. What is it? This is negative 63. I save space and time. And this becomes 72. Because cancels second power and square root cancel out. I will write this 9 plus 6 plus 6 times square root of 72 plus 72 divided by negative 63. So far so good. You can combine these two terms. It will be 81. Okay. Equals 9 plus 72, 81, plus 6 72 is not a perfect square, but you can represent 72 like 9 times 8. That's when we operate with radicals, we have to extract the greatest perfect square. Anything else you can do this with 9? No, not like this. 36 times 2 is better. This is bigger. Otherwise, I use one more step. 36 times 2, right? This is bigger. And divide by negative 63. Now, again, this formula. Square root of product equal product of square roots. So it means this will be what? 81 plus 6. Square root of 36 is 6 based on this formula. 6, I can write. Times square root of 2 divided by negative 63. And this is 36. So far so good. What we have? Look at this. 81, 36, 63, the multiple of 9. I can put here 9, in parentheses 9, plus 4, because 9 times 4, 36, square root of 2, divided by negative 63. And 9 goes into 63 7 times. So I'll get 9 plus 4 square root of 2 divided by negative 7. If you look at multiple choice, yes, we have this answer. So this is no creativity here, just develop your skill. If you have any question, ask me. Who has question about this?
Dr. Farber, I actually had a question.
Yes,
So
Alyssa.
in the beginning, why did you multiply both numbers by positive 3 plus radical 72?
You name it conjugate. Why we did it? Because what is our goal? One girl, she said, my goal to get to MIT. Yes, this is another goal. It's a great goal. But your goal, get rid of this radical in denominator. And you can get rid of radical using this approach. Look at this. Because
Dr. Farber,
yes.
wouldn't getting rid of the radical in the denominator mean multiplying by the denominator on the numerator and denominator? So wouldn't you multiply by 3 minus 72? Sorry, radical 72?
Actually, not get the question. Imagine that we have, let me explain again after that question again. Imagine this is two guys here, right? And the result is over there. How to get rid of this square root of 72? Tell me, any other way how we can do this? If I put this to second power, does not work, because after that, you still have the denominator square root of 72. The best way to get rid of this, use this formula. Look at this. We put this formula, the second guy into the second power. See this? And I need to have to the second power to get rid of this. And I use this beautiful formula to get rid of this radical, because after that, look at this. I have how this formula works. Square of the first one minus square of the second one. Immediately get rid of this radical.
Okay, so my question had to do with the signs on the denominator about why one was negative and one was positive. So why can't they both be negative?
If I both negative, it does not work a lot. I'll show this. If both negative, you get this formula. You get this formula. Let me use this, please. You get a minus b to the second power equals a squared minus 2ab and plus b squared. You remember this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I multiply both by negative, you see what happens. I'll get, pretend this is negative, pretend. Just pretend. So what is it? In the denominator, you'll have, in the denominator, I don't care about numerator right now. You have 3 minus square root of 72 to the second power. According to this formula, it would be, look at this, 9 minus 2 times 3 times square root of 72 and plus 72. You see what happens? I again have this square root.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Later you study recursive function in college. Maybe you study, maybe here by recursive function. When you do iteration over and over again, you still have this guy. You still have this guy. Okay, endless.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody more? Only this way. This is the best one. By the way, Lisa, this is key to complex numbers. In complex number, you have a lot of this stuff, a lot. Conjugate. More questions? Alyssa, read please number 41, what we have. 41. Not 41, 14. This answer 41.
Car dealerships often require car buyers to provide a down payment, money paid up front, which is a percent of a car's price. The down payment is deducted from the purchase price, and the buyer usually takes out a loan to pay for what is left. Terry is buying a car that costs $19,560. Her monthly car payment is given by M equals PR over 1 minus 1 plus R in parentheses to the negative nth power, where P is the initial loan balance, R is the monthly interest rate expressed as a decimal, and N is the number of payments made to be made over the duration of the loan. If Terry wants to fully pay off the loan in 5 years at a 1.5% annual interest and wishes to have a monthly payment of $200, what percent of the purchase price will she need for a down payment? Round your answer to the nearest whole percent.
Thank you. Nice reading. Now let me go through this stuff together. So this is typical question. They ask you, they wonder how you understand reading comprehension, how can apply formula in real life. That's why step number 1, you write this formula correctly, right? So without creativity, just write this formula. I need room for this. I start from here. And the formula is M equals to, I need a little bit more. M equals numerator PR, write it neatly, 1 minus 1 plus R to power negative N. Wherever you work, you always have formula to operate with, right? Doesn't matter, it's economics or medical stuff. Before to start, spend few seconds to understand how this formula works. Who is who? Number 1. Let me write for explanation. What is it? This is monthly payment. Because if you don't know who is who, how you can solve it? Just read what they give you. This they name initial loan balance or principal. This we name monthly interest rate. And we name number of payments. Please keep thinking, because if you don't understand some parameter, everything will be wrong. Now see what I use a space. It's easy problem, but takes time. So in space, I take space. They said this is $200. Okay, I write down $200. This is my M equals P. Okay. What about a monthly interest rate? Let's use somewhere. They said this is annual is 1.5%. How to convert percent to number? You divide by 100. So instead of like we did in scientific notation, in that case, we're supposed to move to the left. 1, 2, put 0 from your pocket and put here. So this will be 0.015. If you have an equation in any stage, or for yourself, you can write 1.5, you have to divide by 100. And this will be this one. Okay, good. Can I apply here? No, because this is monthly. And you know that in our R, I need more room. right? In order to get R, you have to divide by what? By 12, because in year we have 12 months. This is my R. I found this R. Instead of this, I write, what is it? 0.015 over 12. And this my R. 1 minus 1. Instead of R, I write the same guy here, 0.015 over 12. Close parentheses and read these questions. Number of payment. Well, they said they pay monthly. How to find N? 5 years multiplied by 12 months, I get 60. So N equals to 60. But here, don't forget to put negative 60. Well, after that it's just manipulation. You can just count this, right? You can count this, and since calculator is allowed, use calculator for this. If you count, because this is no creativity here, this number divide by this number divide, put to power negative 60, subtract, blah blah blah, and I got from here that P, if I get this one, if I count this stuff, okay, and divide both part by this stuff, I get P. So far so good. Let me erase it. I got P. What is P? P is initial loan balance. You understand what to do, right? This is a number. Can you see this number? For instance, when I divide this, it was what? Instead of this would be what? I just give some example. 0.00125. It goes over there also, and you can use calculator. So finally, when you count, you get P, initial loan balance. I get it. It's 11,552. But they said that he had 19,000. Cost of this car was 19,560. So from cost of this car, 19,560, you subtract 11 his down payment, and after subtraction I get 8,008. Nothing smart in this one, just study structure and plug in everything what you have. Simple manipulations. Okay, now they can ask you what percent. Well, this cost, I can put numbers. This is formula you study. They plug in the formula. You found P. You found difference. Okay. And finally, you can answer the question what they said. They ask you, is 19, I put dollar sign, 19,560. This is 100%. And what is left to pay here is 1008, comma, don't forget, is X. When you use cross multiplication, you multiply, I did it, and you get the X is about 41%. So behind the scene, SAT has no creativity. Majority of this problem, if you study a few tests, they repeat it over and over again. They give a different formula, different simplification. Okay. Who understand this 100%? Ask me questions if you have questions.
Dr. Farber, can you explain how you found P again?
Pretend this is a number. This is a number. If you count it, right? Okay, pretend this number is, I don't know, what number is it? Let me find it out. This number supposed to be, if I count this, what I have here, see this, Alyssa, in this one.
Yes, I do.
So this is about, I did it, 0.017313. Now what I have, 200 equals to P multiplied by 0.017313. How to find P? Easy. I divide by 0.017313. Since I divide left part, right part is supposed to divide left. 0.017313. Cancel, cancel. And after division, this one, I got 11,552. Simple calculation. Did I answer the
Thank you.
question? No.
Yes, thank you.
So practically explain all questions that you have from here. Okay, for tip 08, you do not have many questions, but I can explain. I just wonder if you have a chance to do a few questions from digital. Okay, few questions from your, my suggestion, students, I forget to tell you. This is great chapters, right? My suggestion, when I explain students, one student, nice guy, he was far below. And he came and said, how are you supposed to work with this material? Easy. You have to read every line of this. Don't do just exercises. It has nothing to do with this. I just show what I explained him. Okay, I show these problems. I read everything, highlight everything. I don't know, you see this or not. Highlight, read this, every sentence, try to understand. If you have a question, ask me. You see this? This is important. I showed him. He went through all these highlighters. And guess what? He is in Cornell right now, almost finished. So this chapter, I can give you easy, just 2 pages to solve. It does not work. In order to build foundation at home, I give you future. We just started by chapters, right? I give you few of them, and you have to thoroughly read every line of this, where everything is important. Not too much, just few pages for entire week. You see everything. This is my profession. Even though this is my profession, I also see what is here and highlight it. Okay, don't be arrogant. Do this. If you do all these examples, every examples, first of all, close this example, like I explained him. Close this example. They have example. Nobody cares. You solve it again. You get it? Check how they solve. Do a few times. Only after that you do your homework. Understandable? In this case, you see your results jump like a kangaroo up. Next, chapter 8. You get another. Today you will get examples at home. You get some exercises based on what I explained you. Okay. Okay. For instance, number 1. Many students ask 08. Here 08. If you have any formula again, you have to study what is included, because if I didn't read thoroughly, instead of this division by 12, I just put number and everything will be wrong. Annual given, find monthly. They give system equation. So 0, 8, 1. 2x minus 5y equals to 8. For x plus ky equals to 17. What value of k system has no solution? Actually, let me give small observation. We have few situations. Situation number one. I make two graphs here. You know, this is linear equation. Since x, y is the first power, this linear equation. And each of these represent line. And we can have two cases, three cases. Let's say one graph and another graph. And they intersect in point x and y. They have one common solution. These two graphs must intersect. We can have another situation. This is one solution, common solution. Another case, we have one graph and we have another graph. They parallel. They never intersect. No, never intersect, no solutions. And finally, another case, I take different color. Pretend one graph is this one. And the second goes on the top of this, exactly the same line. In this case, we can have infinite set of solutions. Why? Because each point of one graph is point of another graph, etc. In this case, slope m1 equals to m2, and y-intercept b1, not equals to b2. In this case, slope 1 equals to m2, but slope b1 equals to b2. In this case, m1 and this m2. m1 not equals to m2. And this key thing. And they can have different slope. b1 not equals to b2. Not b2. So this is how we work. This all linear equation based on the simple idea. If they said no solutions, it means you're talking about this case. There are two ways to solve it. Not smart, unscramble in format y equals to mx plus b, wasting time. Smart way. If they have no solution, all coefficient must be this is the second way. The second, you know how to unscramble, right? And the first way, I take different color. For instance, and this coefficient is supposed to be line up x, y, and numbers. So 2/4 coefficient of this, the same variable must be the same, equals -5/k. Okay. And not equal to 8/17, because this is no solution. So look at this. How to find k? 2k cross equals 4 times -5. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Cancel out. 2 goes into 4 2 times. It will be -10. That for that value of k, they have no solution. Negative 10. And you can check one more time here, just check, not necessarily. If you divide negative, if I plug in here, by negative 10, which is 1 over 2, is it equals to 8 over 17? No, which is great. This y-intercepts are different. Again, we have these questions related to this simple. Find proportionality of coefficient. Who understands this concept? Parvina? Okay, but don't be shy. Ask me questions if you have. Anastasia? Nobody has questions. Excellent. Put your hands down. Only when I ask you, you must raise hand immediately. This is signal that you're listening. I go through, let's see, kind of another one. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. You have system equation. This number 2. 5x minus 2y equals to 3. And ax line up plus by equals to 6. AB constant. System has infinite many, this infinity, infinite many solutions. What value a plus b? This case. So it means if you use the same terms, I use different color, for instance, red one, and find proportionality of all these coefficients. Since this is this case, all coefficients must be proportional. Piece of cake. So 5 to 8 equals negative 2 over b equals to, I simplify this, 3 over 6 is 1 over 2. Okay, let me write it. 3 over 6, which is 1 over 2. The smaller number, the better. And how many equalities we have here? 3. For instance, the first one. 5 over 8 equals to 1 over 2. 8. Let me write it below. 8 equals to 10. The second equality. Minus 2 over b equals to 1 over 2. B equals to negative 4. And what they ask you to find? A plus b equals 10 plus negative 4, which is 6. Two different examples, the same philosophy. All these steps, they ask you the same. If you have any question, ask me. I step back.
Dr. Farber?
Yes.
How come you paired A with C and B with C? Why not A with B, for example?
Can you clarify your question? A and C. I don't have C here at all.
No, not C, I'm sorry. How come you paired the first proportion with the third one?
Well, if you have, we name it transitive property. If you and your friend had the same amount of candies, if 3 friends have the same amount, you can make, if this equal to this, and this equal to this, you can say that this equal to this. It's the same, it's three numbers. We have 3 objects. One object equal to the second object, equal to the third object. All of them the same. If they equal, it means they equal, or they equal. You can choose any pair because all of them the same.
I understand. Would it be easier to have A with the first proportion with the third proportion because it has one has a variable for a denominator and the other one has a number for the denominator?
That's what you did. I do not use the first and the second. I use the first and the third.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Here we have numbers, and here we have variables. It doesn't help you too much. More questions, students? More questions? So you got it, right, students? Was it difficult? Tell me, is it difficult, anything here? I don't think so, right? Many students ask, really many ask number 4. What is number 4? If you follow all these steps, it helps you tremendously. Let's say one my student, she's in MIT right now, and they spoke to manager, parents, and she also was online. She took all our handouts. She feels very comfortable in MIT. Instead of using tutors, she used our previous notes because they give you idea of foundation. Number 4. Write neatly, only write neatly. Number 4. By the way, students, before I continue, send me number 14, what you wrote, number 14, from previous explanation, with your first last name, and to manager 718-300-0371. Okay, right now, while explaining, this is one. What you wrote from whiteboard, okay? We check how you take notes. Number 14 for previous explanation. Now, number 4. We have ax plus 3y equals to 6. Let's make bigger. And a minus 1x plus, I need one more room. I want to line up. A minus 1i. And this one is 3y. I want to line up variables. This equal to 6. And this equals to, what is it, 2. Okay. System equation above a is a constant. No solutions. We already did it. Find a. No solution. No solution in this case. What does it mean? It means that all these coefficients in front of variables are the same, ratio the same, but ratio of these terms not the same. So you can write it down like we did a few minutes ago. H, pretend this is red lines here, or purple lines. Look at it. This is ratio to this is ratio to this, and this ratio. Put 2 lines because they're not supposed to be the same. And we have a to a minus 1 must be equal 3 over a minus 1 and not equal 6 over 2, which is 3 over 1. Look at this. Nothing you can do. We have two fractions, the same denominators. So numerators are the same. So a equals to 3. Okay. So practically, we went through very important tip they ask you every time, right? And we went through chapter 8, which is we cover exponents, radical, polynomials, and rational expression. I believe that not everybody read that, as I said. So read this chapter. We have a few minutes, right? Read this chapter from scratch with highlighter very thoroughly. Try to understand all definitions. What is polynomial? What is not polynomial? You're supposed to know this. Great mathematical culture. After that, you will get exercises. Redo everything. I just write on the whiteboard. And after that, you get exercises. In order to succeed, I will send you exercises for this chapter and do exactly the same steps like I did here. Send me your work with steps preliminary to this Farber Center. FarberCenter@gmail.com with your first and last name before class. My AI will check it. Don't be afraid to make mistake at the beginning. Very important, not how you start, how you finish. Do you have any questions? Yes, go ahead.
I have a question about number 4.
Yes.
I put B because I was thinking, like, if I were to plug in the choices, it would be A for, well, 1 would be plugged into A, so it'd be 1 minus 1, and then it would be 0x plus 0y. So that doesn't equal 2, so why wouldn't that answer work for no solution?
And again, you plug in A. You think this is A?
No, I plugged in B, so 1.
B.
Because then the A minus 1 would equal 0.
Yes. So if you plug in 1, look at this, what happens. You will get that left part equals to right part, and right part equals to 2. If you plug in 1, you get the 0 equals to 2, which has no sense. But they ask you absolutely different question. They don't ask you, look at this, read comprehension. They don't ask you for particular equation which is wrong. They ask you about system of equation. You ignore very important the first equation. When you're talking about system of equations, system, my name is system. In Europe, they put in curly braces all of them because they're related to both of them. And you answer different question. You answer question for which A equation has no sense. Not this way. Just look at this. Everything. We have three cases. Zero thinking in this case. Zero thinking. Just this way, what we do, and you win. Because what you did, you ignore equation. You only operate with second one. Why don't you put to the first one, for instance? And you can plug in this because you don't know value of y. You don't know value of b. Did I answer a question?
Yeah, thank you.
So my suggestion, it's like in wrestling students. You see his hands, you move, you might make some particular movement. You see this problem? Step number 1. What topic is it? What I know about this? And this is algorithm. No thinking here too much, because they use the same question, the same way of building the test over and over again. Nothing new, nothing new. I show this, I give you this one. Many kids, they have problem with geometry. I don't know, I show this group or not. Look at this. I study books, I have here thousands of books in my offices. So geometry. If I show geometry books, right, you'll be very surprised. Look at this book. For instance, this one. This is when it was published. Can you see this number? Who can read this date of publishing?
I believe that says 1634.
Yes. It's like, I don't know how many, almost 400 years ago. Do you think we have something new in this geometry? It's Euclidean geometry. This example even more complicated than you have in your stuff, right? 400, I have some books like 600 years ago. Even solution, how I study how people solve at the time. Look at this. This is how they solve at the time these books. It's another one. He used this one and he solved this problem. I don't know, it's also very old. Or another approach. I study all of them. I found, look at this, it's a little bit also, I believe this 17th century book. No, 1826. But from different perspective, the example is more challenging. You study with this. Nothing new. There is nothing new in SAT. Nothing. Whatever you have, different version. If you had time, we would practice with digital. You find this is nothing new. Geometry the same, algebra the same. All these equations, they exist like hundreds of years. If you follow this algorithm, you get perfect knowledge and use your brain for something more challenging. This is no thinking. Like quadratic equation, plug in, count, plug in, count. I believe I answered a question. Yes, Evelyn? Evelyn?
Yeah.
Yes. You answer different question, not this question they ask you about. Period. But don't worry about it. You smart kid. It takes time. Only just more experience, and you will do everything. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. If you'd like to stay a few more minutes, I will show a couple examples of digital. If you see this, what is digital? Or we can do it next time. What do you prefer? Silence. Who would like to practice a little bit with digital SAT? Who would like to stay home right now? Majority wins.
When are the SATs going to be digital? Next year?
Next year, right at the beginning, next year. Okay. Well, a few words about new. We will not practice, I just tell you. Even this is new SAT is not new for me. Why? Because I'm doing this test for many years, different tests for different ages. And for instance, I have many students who under my supervision doing PhD. This is like, and students who under my supervision do doctor science. It's like 10 PhDs. Well, all this stuff, in order, let's say, to get to PhD from masters, they have a test GRE. And this GRE in GMAT, this is a little bit different, but very similar. They have the same idea what they have in this new digital SAT. Based on a mistake by different algorithm, they give you different examples. Very similar that we have in GRE. It's not a new stuff for us at all, at least for me. That's why if you follow this, if you build this foundation, you get perfect score on this one. Not difficult, but definitely have to practice. This is my point. Well, students, let me write your homework. Let me write your homework. Today is, what is it? 14 or 13? 14, I believe. Yes. Redo notebook. What is redo notebook? Again, remind everybody. Do whatever we did today from scratch few times in your notebook. Practice, develop style. Oh, it's not here. It's over there. It's over there. SAT. Redo notebook. Redo mistakes. All mistakes you're supposed to redo. Redo tip 08. Redo, I will name it chapter 8, polynomial, whatever you did today. Chapter 8 for simplicity. This is important. Read this, which I explain again from scratch. Don't miss any definitions. Highlight. Read this. Read again. You will get tip number 9. Tip 09. Solve your solution. Watch links. I already got these links. You got these links already. I believe you watch links about internship, right? And you understand what is it? Send this, and don't forget number 8. I will give you the same chapter exercises. I meant name it. How do you name it? In order to develop, I name it extra practice. Extra practice is just name. It doesn't mean extra. It must. We send you today. Show your work. And send everything over there. So let me underscore by red this package and this package. They show work. You will get by email. This I already did. You got it right? Good. Do you have any questions about your homework? So it shows that everybody had difficulties today with this topic. But if you know this topic, it helps you a lot everywhere. Future in calculus, trigonometry, everything based on these simple manipulations. No questions for today? If you have no question, be strong, be well. Practice. Enjoy math. Have a nice weekend. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Barber. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Thank you. Likewise, everybody. Enjoy math.
Goodbye, Dr. Farber.
Can I ask a question?